Hello, this is Angela Leong with Lab 13. For Lab 13, the objective is to use vMotion to migrate virtual machines. So for the first task, we're going to migrate a VM file with vSphere storage vMotion, and we're going to be moving student VM01. So if we look at the related objects in the data store, we can see that it's on the NFS vol1 storage. After that, I've powered on the VM, and then I right-clicked and went to migrate. So we're going to only change the storage only. We're going to choose iSCSI LUN 0, and we're going to make sure that it's thin provisioned, and then finish. After it has finished relocating, we can go back to the summary page, and we see that the location now shows up as iSCSI LUN 0. For task 2, we're going to create a VM kernel port group for vMotion migration. So we're going to create that on an ESXi1 host. And just go to Manage, Networking, Virtual Switches, and then Add Host Networking. Okay, so we're going to make sure that it's a VM kernel network adapter. We're going to create a new standard switch. So we assign an active adapter for VM NIC2. And then we're going to label it vMotion and check vMotion traffic for the services. And then set a static IP, and then finish. Once that's done, we're going to do the same thing for the ESXi2 host, and then the only thing that's different is that the IPv4 address will be .52, and then hit finish. For task 3, we're going to verify that our ESXi host meets the vMotion requirements. So we're taking a look at the first host and the CPU processor type. So it's an Intel Xeon CPU E5-2670. Then if we look at host 2, it's the same exact thing. And then if we look at the manage and network and the VM kernel adapters, we can see that there's vMotion for both of them. So when I looked at the iSCSI LUN 0 data store, I did not see host 2. So in order to add it, we went to host 2, manage storage, storage adapters, added iSCSI software adapter, and then for target, added the IP address 172.16.1.99, and then have to rescan the adapter. So after rescanning, they both show up now under connectivity and multipathing. For task 4, we're going to verify that our VM meets vMotion requirements. So we're taking a look at student VM01 under the summary and the VM hardware properties page. We can see that the network adapter shows up as VM network connected and CD/DVD drive as disconnected. For task 5, we're going to perform a vSphere vMotion migration of a VM on the shared data store. So we're going to migrate student VM01. It's going to change the compute resource only. We're going to choose host 2 and leave the VM network the same. And then this is also the same, and then finish. Once that's done, and after we've refreshed our page, we can see that there's 3 VMs on host 1 and the student VM on host 2. For task 6, we're going to perform a vSphere vMotion migration to a local data store on student VM01. We're going to change both compute resource and storage, and we're going to select compute resource first. We're going to select to go to host 1. We're going to choose local 51 as the data store. We're going to leave the VM network. We're going to leave this one also as default, and then finish. Once the task is finished, we can now see that there's no VMs listed under host 2, and we can see 4 VMs listed under host 1. And then if we look at the student VM01 settings on the summary page, we can see that the host shows that it's on host 1, VM network, and the local storage shows up as local 51.